guys ready? Okay, for this past game, the captain of the week was Quadres Wadley. Top gun for special teams was Adrian Henson. We had a couple injuries in this game that will be probably long-term for some of these guys. Josh Weeks, the tight end, injured his foot and broke that. He'll be out for a considerable amount of time. And then Keenan Foster, who's been doing a nice job for us at the slot receiver and as a returner, injured his knee in that game. So he'll be out for quite some time, which challenges our depth right now, having 11 players out, but we'll have to overcome that. Offensively, in this game, the story was 5 turnovers. We had 5 interceptions, 3 of those in the first half. I do want to emphasize that Ryan Metz is our quarterback. Ryan Metz will be our quarterback moving forward. At halftime, we tried to create a spark for our team. It didn't work, unfortunately for us, but I want everybody to know that Ryan's our quarterback moving forward, and we have all the confidence in the world that he's going to do the job. We do need better play from the position. We only completed 29% of our passes in that game, and on the year, we have 6 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. That needs to change. We need to play to their strengths and what they do best, and game plan it that way and try to execute it. We didn't do a good job on third downs, and again, we were hindered by drops. 3 of those being on third downs. 1 of those drops ended up being an interception. And then of our turnovers, turned into 14 points for New Mexico State. The one that was really a turning point in the game, it was 14-7. We had an opportunity with the ball, and we had a pick 6 right before the half, turned it into a 21-7 game, and kind of turned the tide of the game for us. We did run the ball better, but not quite to the efficiency that we need to as a team. But we did have 135 yards rushing. That needs to continue to improve in increments for us to have a chance to win. And then Quadres Wadley came back from an injury, and in his first performance, I thought he did very well. He had 19 carries, which is about the load that we wanted to give him. He had 77 yards and a 4.1 average. I think he's an outstanding running back that's just going to get better and better as he gets more carries. We will make a positional change with Walter Dawn, being that Quadres is back, and Walter's going to play receiver for us to try to give us some spark out there and create some plays out there. And there's a lot of things that he can do also, motioning and those type things that we'll try to take advantage of. As I mentioned, Ryan Metz is our quarterback, so Zach Greenlee and Mark Torres will battle throughout the week of practice as far as who's going to be number 2, and that's how we'll move forward there at that position. Defensively, we did not contain the running back. Rose, who again, I always felt that he was the best running back that we were going to face all year. I still think that. I think he's a talented young man. He had 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. He popped the long one that was kind of a backbreaker for us. And many of those runs came on third downs when we had opportunities to get off the field, and we didn't contain him. Quarterback played extremely well. He's gotten better. 60% efficiency. He had 2 touchdowns as well. He was more effective late in the game. I thought we had him bottled up pretty good early in the game. We did gain 2 turnovers or interception by 23, and then we had a fumble recovery for a touchdown by Trace Mascoro that was forced by Johnny Jones. So Rogers made a nice play on the ball in the first quarter, gave us an opportunity, but we turned the ball back to them, and then that was a good play by the young cats late in the game. We did have 0 quarterback sacks, only 2 quarterback hits. We got to generate more pressure on the quarterback, whether that's through blitzing, guys individually winning their techniques one-on-one. Probably won't come into play in this game because this is a team that we're going to face that does not throw the ball very often at all. But in the future, we need to amp that up. Third downs, they were efficient, and we weren't. Again, probably a tell of the game. They were 53% on third downs. The backbreaker for us was a 99-yard drive. Luna did a nice job. Adrian Henson made a great play, pinning the ball down at the 1-yard line, and we had several opportunities within that drive to get off the field and did not execute that. Special teams, I really feel minus the 1 punt return against Arizona, our special teams has been solid in all units throughout the season. Luna was a 44.1 average, long of 53, 3 inside the 20, the one that was pinned down at the 5. They only had 1 return for 5 yards with a very dangerous returner in number 3. Punt return, Terry Janelle had 3 returns for 10 yards, long of 7. We need to get better holdups there, and he had one that he tried to outrun the coverage, and we just need to put our foot in the ground and go north and south on that one. He'll learn from that. Kickoff cover, I think Viles is doing a nice job he had 2 touchbacks, and the one that was returned was an onside kick, all right, that went for 0 yards. Kickoff return, we'll miss Keenan Foster in that category, but Terry Janelle will step into that role for him, along with Warren Reddix, and he's very capable. But we did have a long of 30 from Janelle when he was in there after Keenan Foster got injured. And then again, Biles was 2 for 2 on PATs, and we had no field goal opportunities. So, sounds like a broken record, but it was a very disappointing loss. My hat goes off to Coach Martin. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's doing an outstanding job there at New Mexico State. They outplayed us in every phase, probably with the exception of special teams. And, they earned that win. I've competed against them for 5 years, and we were 4-1, but it's the last one that counts, and it was a very disappointing one. We move on to Army, and again, this is an outstanding football team, a team that won their bowl game last year. They started off this year, they beat Fordham 64-6, beat the University of Buffalo 21-17. Played an outstanding game against Ohio State, and I know they're on the losing end of that, but it was a very close game. Ended up getting away from them at the end, and then they just lost a close game this past weekend against Tulane. As always, they're a very disciplined team, only 32 yards per game in penalties. They've had 5 turnovers on the year. They've gained 3, so they're in the negative category. And then, as always, they're a very well-conditioned team. You would expect that, and they outscored their opponents 34-14 in the 4th quarter. So, offensively, it's a triple option offense. It's fullback and quarterback based, and they have a returning quarterback that played against us last year, Bradshaw. He's a senior. He leads their team in rushings, 439 yards, 7-yard average, 4 touchdowns. They returned their fullback that started against us last year, Davidson, number 40, 207 yards, 5.3 average, 1 touchdown. And then they have a slot runner that's 5'9", 185 that has 8.7 per carry, so they utilize him on a lot of the perimeter runs. They have 3 seniors returning on a very physical offensive line. Right now this year, 27 points a game, but they average 366 yards rushing a game, only 9 yards passing a game. But I will say this, you have to keep your eyes focused in this game, because the second you lose responsibility, take your eyes off your man, they can hit you with a long pass at any time. So we have to play very disciplined football. They've been great. Time of possession, 34 minutes, something that we aspire to do. And then they've been great on 3rd downs, 43%, and red zone touchdowns. They've been sacked 0 times, but again, they haven't put the ball up in the air much. Defensively, they're very stingy. They're only giving up 20 points per game. It's an aggressive, odd blitzing scheme. These guys fly to the football. They're only giving up 390 yards per game, 6.6 per play. But again, they've been great on 3rd downs, 33%. They've been great in the red zone, only 50% touchdowns. They've only been on the field 26 minutes a game because of the way that their offense steals possessions. And then they have 9 quarterback sacks. This is an aggressive defense that gets after the quarterback, and we'll have our challenge there. Defensively, their outside linebacker, Christian, who played against us, he's 6'2", 225, leads their team in tackles, also tackles for losses. His backup is 2nd on the team in tackles, so they get great production from their outside backers. They have a safety that's 3rd on their team in tackles. He's got a tackle for loss, a sack, an interception return for 27 yards, and a forced fumble. That's number 7, McClinton. And then the outside linebacker that played against us last year that we thought very highly of, a big outside linebacker. His name's Ackerman, 6'1", 260. He leads their team in tackles for losses and sacks. He gets after the quarterback. And their top interior D lineman is a defensive end named Voigt, and he again leads their team in tackles for losses and 2nd on the team in sacks. So outstanding defense with a lot of returning starters, and it'll be a challenge for us. Special teams, as you would expect, they have great coverage units. These guys fly around. Punt, teams only average 2 yards of return against them, and then kickoff cover, teams only average getting the ball back to the 17-yard line. So these guys fly down the field, and they're very physical. Punt return is number 6. He's got 3 returns on the year, and then kickoff return is number 5. He's got a 22-yard average. And then their field goal kicker has been 2 for 4 field goals, 13 to 14 PATs. So we know what we're faced against. It's a long road trip for us. We need to energize our team. Right now, we're kind of a wounded animal, but in my mind, you either make a decision. Do you fight back, or do you just lay down and our mentality is going to be we're going to fight back and start this thing one game at a time. Any questions?
How do you keep the team motivated to do that?
Well, you know, again, you challenge them as well, and you know, as a man, you fight back or you lay down, and you know, we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to try to put together the best game plan we can. Continue to try to develop the players that we have. We are down injury-wise, so guys are going to have to step into roles and compete in those roles. And as a head coach, you know, you got to keep the kids motivated. You know, you got to keep them going to class. You got to keep them doing the right things on and off the field, and keep pushing them in the right direction. And that's all you can do. There's really no magic formula.
Last week, you know, you got rid of offensive coordinator due to lack of performance. What do you have? What was to blame this week? What do you think?
What was to blame? I don't blame anybody, okay? I blame myself, okay? There you go.
How would you evaluate Ryan Napkin?
I thought he called a good game. You know, I think you saw a real good glimpse in the first quarter of the style of offense that we want to be. We held the ball 11 minutes. We had a long time-consuming drive that was balanced with run and play action. And again, you know, the game got out of hand with turnovers that turned into a passing game in the second half, which again, we're not quite built for at this point. So we ran the ball more effectively. The time of possession was better, but the turnovers killed us. And some of those were decisions. Some of them were based off of drops. I certainly don't blame that on play calling. I thought for his first game he did an outstanding job.
Was there any one play, it was tied 7-7, was there any one play when you go back and look on film that you kind of see, you know, that was sort of the backbreaker, that was the snowball effect?
Well, I mentioned the two. The one was the 99-yard drive against us on defense, and then offensively, certainly the pick six right before halftime were the two plays that turned the tide.
Have you ever been in a situation like this as a coach, dealing with this kind of issue?
Yeah, I've been in several situations like this. You know, I played on a team here that was a 1-11 team, and continued the grind, and ended up being a 10-2 team. I've been on a coaching staff here as an assistant that was an 0-12 team, and won in one-game increments, and ended up winning the WAC championship. Okay, I've been in many instances like this, and you just keep fighting, and you don't fold, and you don't give up. Okay, so yeah, I got a lot of experience in that.
Last year, Army put up 66 at home here. Has the defense sort of been circling this game as one they've been looking forward to for a while?
Well, there's been a lot of time put into it. I know Coach Mason and his staff did a lot of you know, research in the offseason, seeing what we can do better to defend the triple option. We spent more time in it in training camp than we ever have, and did a lot of carded periods against the option. So there's been more time invested, and then ultimately we got to go out and try to execute that on game day.
Sean, as far as Metz's performance goes, do you think that his shoulder was maybe just not ready to make the throws that he needed to make, or was it just rust?
I mean, Ryan will be the same as me. He's not going to make an excuse. I'm not going to make an excuse for him. But you know, ultimately, he did throw the interceptions. We did try to make a spark change at halftime that didn't go. Even pulled him aside after the game, said, "You're our guy. We're going to always go with you." We wanted to make a change. It didn't work out. Okay, so he won't make excuses, and I'm not going to make excuses for him.
Was he sore? Do you know, was the shoulder?
Yeah, he fought through pain. You know, Ryan's a tough kid, and Ryan's going to do whatever it takes to help his team win. And you know, there's a lot of guys banged up that are out there playing, trying to compete to help their team win.
Move with Walter Don, the receiver, is that an effort to give Ryan help? It seems like he hasn't had that help in terms of getting open, in terms of being able to make those plays. Is that kind of that move?
Yeah, Walter's shown the ability that he can make plays, and he can make dynamic plays, and he gave us some good plays at the running back position. But with Quadray's back, I think it frees up Walter that he could do so many more things for him, and it would make no sense for him to be sitting on the sidelines waiting to get carries after Quadray's when he can be on the field full-time making plays for us.
Sean, Larry Rose III, he's getting a lot of attention after that game. I know you touched on it a little bit, but what makes him so challenging to bring down?
You know, he's a one-cut runner. He's got great balance. He can pull through tackles. He can make you miss. He's got great hands out of the backfield. You know, I've always kind of compared him to Aaron. He's had an outstanding career there. He's came in kind of like Aaron. He's 160 pounds. Now he's close to being a 200-pound back. He'll have an opportunity. He'll get drafted and have an opportunity to play in the NFL. And from what I've been around him, seems like a great kid too. So I'll be rooting for him.
Eric Brown's a guy that noticed that he seems
Eric Brown is a junior college receiver from Riverside, California. He's a bounce back from Cal. He started his college career at Cal. He had to pass a math class late and didn't get it done on time during training camp. It extended into the first week of school, so we did sign him late. We're trying to get him caught up to speed as fast as we can. He played minimally in the last game because he wasn't ready. He's only been here a week, but kid's got a lot of talent. He's got a great burst, has a great attitude. He wants to learn. He wants to get out there and make plays for us. So you'll see number 13 on the field quite a bit. As he can handle it, we'll try to develop him and get him in the game plan.
Sean, in the Aggies post-game presser, they mentioned Forrest McKee's talking about that he's going to hit him in the mouth for 4 years. What do you think of what he said? Will you have any conversations?
I don't.
They call it a high school mistake. What do you think about that?
I don't put a lot of stock in that stuff, but I do say if you do open your mouth, you better be able to back it up.
Coach, 0-20-1 on the East Coast. Is there anything to that, or is that anything you look at?
And I think if you look even in the NFL, teams that go from the West Coast to the East Coast, it's a difficult 2 time zones and all that stuff, but ultimately you just got to go and you got to go play. So again, it's a trend, but I don't look back at trends. We just got to make our own bones.
Sean, after the game, you said something that kind of caught me. You said that I feel like I'm failing these guys. There's a new AD coming in. You're 0-4 right now. Is it in the back of your mind at all that time might be running out?
Well, if it is, I'm going to continue to work, and I'm going to continue to fight for the kids. And I tell them every day, all I care about is 105 kids in that room. I don't care about outside noise. I don't care what outside people think of me or anything. I love the team. I love the program. I'm going to fight my tail off to help us try to turn this thing around. But I'm a grown man, so. But to answer your question, no, it's not in the back of my mind. What's in my mind right now is Army and the 105 players on my team.
Coach, the last couple of weeks talked about getting Wideland Fields a little more action. Is that still in the plan?
Yeah, and again, I think with moving Walter to wide receiver, it kind of frees up carries. Ideally, again, we'd like to run the ball 35 to 40 times a game. Quadres is not going to get 40 carries. He'll get close to 20, and that frees up carries for other guys. So do want to get Fields involved. He did a nice job in protection. In the second half of the game, he had 1 carry, but he needs to touch the ball more, as does Awad. I think he's got a lot of talent. So those are 2 young men that, moving forward, I think you'll see quite a bit on the field.
So you feel good with the balance of the running and the passing Saturday?
Well, I don't feel good with the turnovers in the passing game. But as far as how they were called, again, Brian called a good game. You saw the 1-play action. I mean, he's running 20 yards past the entire secondary, and if we connect on that one, it's a 14-14 game. But we didn't connect. We didn't execute it. And that's why we continue to go back to work to try to piece that together, to try to execute. So, anybody else? All right, thanks, guys.